Hello, my lovely, beautiful souls. I wanted to do a quick little video on a book that I just finished reading. It was a super easy, short read. Look at this book. It's only 33 pages. It's actually by Neville Goddard. I actually didn't really hear about him until, what was it, like a week ago. I was listening to Sean Croxton's Quote of the Day show that I've mentioned on this channel like numerous times because it's one of my favorite podcasts. Honestly, it's probably the only podcast that I listen to. I have a lot of podcasts that I set in my stations, but honestly, the only one that I really listen to now and that I'm just obsessed with is Quote of the Day show by Sean Croxton, because they're super, they're not long. It's a different speaker. He'll always feature a different speaker. He takes a lot of his bits from YouTube or whatever programs they may have. A lot of them have programs on audible.com. So he does reference that as well. So there was a speaker on there the other day, and he actually was talking about Neville Goddard, and he was talking about how pretty much if you study the law of attraction or manifestation or anything of that nature, a lot of who speak on the law of attraction, there's a lot of people out there, successful people that mention it, talk about it, and how it's really changed their lives. So basically the speaker, I can't remember his name, but the gentleman was talking about Neville Goddard, and he said that every speaker that talks about manifestation or the law of attraction, majority of them probably have all got their teachings from Neville Goddard's books. Now, of course, everybody has their own way of teaching things and communicating the information. So of course, we're all going to communicate in our own different ways, which is great because you might be able to relate to one person and there's another person who's teaching the same teachings, but you can't relate to that person. So there's nothing wrong with it. I think it's great to have different people, communicating in their own way, right? So Neville Goddard, basically, again, that was the first time I heard about him. So when the speaker talked about it, and I said, okay, well, if this is somebody that everybody's getting their information from, I need to find out who this guy is. So I started Googling him and realized he had a lot of books. The original publication of this book this one is called Feeling is the Secret. So the original publication of this book was in 1948. So I think his earlier books were maybe 1930, late 30s, I believe. I got to double check. But throughout the 50s. So he was pretty much, got obsessed with, the teachings of the law of attraction, and he calls it the law. And then he started teaching the promise, which I haven't really got into that. This is my first book by him. And like I said, it was a super easy read, quick and to the point, and that's what I really liked about this book. It was just like straight to the point, and it is kind of repetitive, but not in a bad way. So when I say this book is a little repetitive, it's more repetitive that you need it. It's basically just repeating exactly the same information, but in so many different ways. So he's basically saying the same thing over and over in this book, but he says it in so many different ways, and different ways for you to think about the information, different ways so that it can apply to you and how you can absorb the information. So basically a very short book. He's basically saying feeling is the secret. So what I also thought was kind of cool, you have all heard of The Secret, especially if you're listening to this channel, mine, or doing other, watching other videos. This is obviously a subject you're, diving into and trying to explore. So you probably have already heard the movie The Secret, which is the documentary, that they're actually coming out with the movie, who's in it, but it's coming out pretty soon, so I'm excited to watch that movie. But in the movie The Secret, I just thought that was kind of funny because that movie's called The Secret, but that movie was released maybe what, I don't know, 10-15 years ago, less 10 years ago. I can't remember when that movie was released, but not that long ago, right? Probably came out when I was in my, I don't know, early 20s, mid 20s. By the time I heard about the movie, I was in my mid 20s, so it could have came out before that, shortly before. So that movie wasn't that long ago, but this book is called Feeling is the Secret. What he's talking about is the feeling. So we know about the secret, manifestation, visualization, and affirmations. And he mentions that in this book as well too. But the secret all comes down to feeling. So what I like about this book, he talks about controlling your emotions, taking control of your emotions, because that is where you're going to manifest everything. So when you're feeling bad, when you're feeling stressed, worried, those are the things that you're going to create in your life and you're going to manifest. So again, this is a very, very simple read, and I think this is the type of stuff, honestly, like they need to have in high schools, like even middle school. Like I'm serious, like I'm all about, we need to start putting these types of books in our schools, because this is the stuff that really gets people to think about how powerful you are and your mind and what you are capable of, because we are all powerful. But a lot of times we don't believe it, we don't know it, because we're not taught those things. We're taught, you know, to be safe, to survive. Just in schools, we're really taught to be safe and you know, not, you know, follow the rules, do as you're told. And so honestly, like, this is the stuff that we need to teach our children. So again, he's talking about the feeling, and he basically, this is 3 chapters. He breaks it down in 3 chapters. He talks a lot about the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, and how, and the way he describes it is that your conscious mind, you can think of it as like a husband, okay? So he's the one who kind of comes, who does the ideas, who takes the actions on the ideas. But then you want to think about the subconscious mind as the wife. So the wife who, she kind of submits to her husband, and she believes in him as he is. She isn't trying to change him. She isn't trying to do anything like that. You know, she believes him as he is. So it's kind of like your conscious mind and your subconscious. Your subconscious mind is going to believe whatever your conscious mind is telling you. So if you're out here telling your stuff, you know, like, you know, I am great, I am this, then your subconscious mind is going to believe it, and it's going to start to manifest those things, so that you will start to see those realities in your life. But if your conscious mind is telling yourself things like, oh, I can't do that, or, you know, it's too scary, or it's too this, well, then again, your subconscious mind as a wife is going to submit to the husband, and it's going to believe it. So your subconscious mind will start to believe, okay, you know what, we're going to have limitations, and it's going to believe it, and that's what's going to manifest into realization. So that's, he breaks it down in, you know, really simple ways for you to think about it. And like I said, he gets straight to the point. It's repetitive in a good way. Like, it's really reinforcing it so that you really get it. So he breaks it down into the 3 chapters when he talks about, you know, first as far as, you know, what is the law and how it operates. And then the 2nd chapter talks about sleep. And oh my gosh, you guys. So he says about before you go to sleep, it's very, very important to have control of your emotions, your energy. And that is the time where, right before you go into your slumber, before you go to sleep, you get into your subconscious mind, because your subconscious mind is always working, right? I mean, our conscious mind, we go to sleep. So when we're sleeping, we're not conscious of what's going on, but our subconscious is. I mean, or else, you know, you wouldn't be alive and breathing. So he says that that's the time when, think about the husband and wife, your conscious mind and your subconscious mind basically get to meet, you know, like lovers meeting at the night. It's kind of like, you know, their appointment together. So as you go into sleep, that's when they become one. So he talks about, before you go to bed, that it's so important to really have control of your emotions. You always want to make sure you go into a dream state feeling very positive, feeling very you know, happy, have the energy. But in order for the law to work, to manifest what your, you know, your desires are, he says you have to, it's so important to feel as though it already has happened. So again, it's the feeling. He said put yourself in a state when you're sleeping to feel as though it's already happened. And, you know, what kind of person are you if this, you know, let's say I don't know, I wanted to be CEO of my own company. Okay, what does that feel like? You know, what kind of things would I be doing? What would I do if I had that freedom? You know, just think about all those things and put it as if it's already happened, and how it would make you feel. So he says once you go into that dream state, that's what's going to help you manifest those desires. And you don't want to ever think in terms of, I will have this, I will be this, because he says that's just keeping you in a lack. Because if you're saying I will, you're basically telling your subconscious mind, I'm not. So when you say I will be CEO of my own business, you're telling your subconscious mind, I am not CEO of my own business. So therefore, that's where a lot of us mess up in trying to practice our law of attraction and manifestation. And then he talks about the next part is prayer. So he's very big on prayer, and very similar to sleep. He says when you pray, you want to, again, do it as if I am this person. I am CEO of my business, or I am happy that I found my life partner. I am so grateful to be financially free. So you always, I am. Again, you don't want to say I will be financially free, because you're telling the subconscious mind that you're lacking that, and therefore you are not financially free. So again, he breaks it down very simple, but it just made so much more sense. And again, like, there's tons of books on this, and none of them are wrong. You know, they're all great, because again, everybody has their own teaching and their own style of, you know, communicating the information. So it's always great. But this, I think, is a must, because this kind of gets you like, oh, okay, so that's exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, or that's what it means when people say this. And it just makes it very, very doable and simple. So I honestly never realized, like, when I go to sleep, how, like, I mean, I don't feel as though I'm a stressful person. I don't get anxiety. I feel I've always been pretty calm and controlling my emotions. But after reading that chapter on sleep, I was like noticing that before I go to bed, I have some negative thoughts. I mean, we're always going to have negative thoughts, right? It's just about taking control of it. But I was just, you know, having some negative thoughts, worry, frustration. And I had to keep on checking myself, like, oh crap, okay, shit, stop thinking that, you know what I mean? So I had to keep on, like, rewinding, like, okay, I don't want to go to bed with that on my mind. Like, after reading that this chapter on sleep, oh my gosh, it was a little stressful going to bed, because you know, I'm trying to get into this new habit and not thinking or worrying before going to sleep. So I just had to keep readjusting myself. As soon as I had a little bad thought, like, oh man, I gotta get this done, or this, da, 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 I'm like, okay, you know what? No, we're not thinking about those things, Christina. We're not gonna do it. So I had to just keep practicing and practicing. So the last few days, I've been really trying to adjust to it. But it's a good thing, right? Because we want to know how to change and how to be different in order for your environment to change and for your circumstance to change. So definitely something that I'm, you know, working on, and it's really been a big, like, light bulb. Like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how much, you know, worry I do think before I go to bed. And so again, you don't want to think about those things. So I think this is a really great book. You guys need to pick it up. Like I said, it was super quick read. I would have read it in one night, probably within less than, you know, an hour and a half or two. But again, you know, my son always climbing all over me, doesn't let me get to read very much. So I did have to finish it the next night. I just read the next chapter. Didn't take very long, you know, like less than 15 minutes. But I think this will be definitely a game changer in your library. Of course, I'm not going to stop here. We're, you know, still want to read, still want to get different teachings and different perspectives and things of that nature. But I think this for sure is a must in your library. So I hope you guys pick it up. Like I said, Neville Goddard, now that I've finished this book, I started researching some of his other books. So I'm really interested in adding some more of his books and his teachings to my shelf. So, and I'm going to start searching some stuff of him on YouTube. So I'm pretty excited about that, because like I said, this was just a game changer, you guys. So thank you guys for watching my channel today and watching the show. I really hope this helps. And again, as I come across more awesome books or any awesome speakers or anything that I'm learning in my self-development journey, I'm always going to share it with you guys. Okay, so thank you guys. Love you, and bye.